Saturday, June 27th. It's hot. Too hot to think too deeply. So I've got a couple of stories for you. A story of heaven and a story of hell. Listen to these. The day finally arrives. Forrest Gump dies and goes to heaven. He walks up to the pearly gates and is met by St. Peter himself. The good saint says, "Well, Forrest, we're glad to see you. We've heard a lot about you. I must let you know, however, that the place is filling up fast, so we've been given an entrance examination to everyone. The test is short, but you have to pass before you can get into heaven. You need to answer these 3 questions. What days of the week begin with the letter T? How many seconds are there in a year? And what is God's first name?" Forrest says, "Well," and I'm not going to do the accent, "well, the first one, that's an easy one. There are 2 of them, today and tomorrow." The saint's eyes open wide in surprise. "Forrest, that's not what I was thinking, but I'll give you credit for that answer. How about the second question?" "Now that one's harder," says Forrest, "but I'll guess the answer to be 12. Astounded, St. Peter says, 12? 12? Forrest, how could you come up with 12 seconds in a year?" "Shucks, that's got to be 12, Forrest answers. "January 2nd, February 2nd, March 2nd. "Hold it," interrupts St. Peter. "I see where you're going with this, and I'll have to give you credit for that one too. Let's go on to the next and final question. Can you tell me God's first name?" "Sure," Forrest replies. "It's Andy." "Andy?" exclaims the exasperated and frustrated saint. "Okay, I can understand how you came up with your answers to my first 2 questions, but just how in the world did you come up with the name of Andy as the first name of God?" "Oh," Forrest replies, "that was the easiest one of all. Andy walks with me, Andy talks with me, Andy tells me I am his own." St. Peter opens the pearly gates and says, "Run, Forrest, run." Now, this one about hell requires some concentration. I don't know what your university chemistry is like. Listen to this. The following is an actual question given in a University of Washington chemistry exam. The answer by one student was so profound that the professor shared it with colleagues. The question was, is hell exothermic, gives off heat, or endothermic, absorbs heat? Most of the students wrote proofs of their beliefs using Boyle's law that gas cools off when it expands and heats up when it is compressed, or some variant of that. One student, however, wrote the following. First, we need to know how the mass of hell is changing in time. So we need to know the rate that souls are moving into hell and the rate they are leaving. I think that we can safely assume that once a soul gets to hell, it will not leave. Therefore, no souls are leaving. As for how many souls are entering hell, let's look at the different religions that exist in the world today. Most of these religions state that if you are not a member of their religion, you will go to hell. Since there are more than one of these religions, and since people do not belong to more than one religion, we can project that all souls go to hell. Not sure I agree with that. With birth and death rates as they are, we can expect the number of souls in hell to increase exponentially. Now we look at the rate of change at the volume in hell, because Boyle's law states that in order for the temperature and pressure in hell to stay the same, the volume of hell has to expand proportionately as souls are added. Keep following. This yields 2 possibilities. 1, if hell is expanding at a slower rate than the rate at which souls enter hell, then the temperature and pressure in hell will continue to increase until all hell breaks loose. 2, if the volume of hell is expanding at a rate faster than the increase of the volume of souls in hell, then the temperature and pressure will drop until hell freezes over. So which is it? Well, if we accept the statement given to me by a girl called Teresa during my first year, that it will be a cold day in hell before I go out with you, and take into account the fact that I still have not succeeded in dating her, then 2 above cannot be true, and thus I am sure that hell is exothermic and will not freeze over. The student got an A grade. Of course, actually, I don't believe that heaven and hell are anything like those stories. But I want to finish our journey through the letters of John by reading the concluding part of his first letter in chapter 5, beginning at verse 13. I have written this to you who believe in the name of the Son of God, so that you may know you have eternal life. And he goes on to conclude at the end, and we know that the Son of God has come, and he has given us understanding so that we can know the true God. And now we live in fellowship with the true God because we live in fellowship with his Son, Jesus Christ. He is the only true God, and he is eternal life. Dear children, keep away from anything that might take God's place in your hearts. In other words, our responsibility is to believe in Jesus Christ the Son and to recognize he is the only way to eternal life, for eternal life is in him. And therefore that last sentence is vital. Don't let anything take God's place in your hearts. That's my husband laughing. My prayer for you today is this. May you find heaven on earth in Jesus, and may you bring heaven into being on earth through your faith in Jesus, so that you can lead as many as possible towards him and away from hell. May your day be a heavenly one in the presence of Jesus. Look for it. Glimpses of heaven, glimpses of Jesus, and may you be a glimpse of heaven for someone else. See you tomorrow. Bye.